ladies and gentlemen, toys and squirrels. It is another edition of Cat Calls. Woo! I'm Cat Vine, and this is my show that I do every Thursday here on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/KATBEIN. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, what is your fucking excuse? You need to come on over to twitch.tv/CatVine next time, because we're having a good time. Look at all these people. Dana Swag knows it. Okay, Ian Jones knows it. Taurus Horoscope knows it. Sam Burgers, Jaden Watkins 32. Where the fuck were you? Anyways, but all of you guys are here live, and I'm so excited because this week's guest is exciting for a few different reasons. Firstly, it's my first time hosting a trio on the show. That's right, we're making Cat Calls history today, and I'm not going to make any jokes about handling 3 men at a time. I'm going to let you guys do that at home for yourselves, all right? You got that all out of your system? Good. Now let's give it up for my guests, Wavedash, everybody. Yes, Wavedash. We're so excited. We're so honored to have them. This trio, coming straight out of Austin, is running strong on the heels of their debut album release, World Famous Tour. Very bold name for an album, for your debut album, and I fuck with it. I think they're right. Because this 12 tracks, it's a masterpiece, truly. It's something to behold in full. It's got all kinds of fun vocal samples that are kind of telling a story, and it blends together everything from dubstep to future bass to pop to drum and bass and big beat, and it's really just so many different influences put together. Former Cat Calls guests Madion and Hotel Garuda were just gushing about it on Twitter, which makes this episode extra exciting too, because I think this is their first interview since the album release, and also one of their first and only interviews ever. So I'm in a very special position of getting to know these guys alongside you and not having had read their whole life story yet. But I have met them previous to starting the show, and they're super lovely guys, and I know this episode is just going to be great, and I know it's going to be great because you're all here, and you guys drop your questions in the chat, and we'll make sure I get to them too. This is an interactive show. It's your show as much as it's my show. Before I bring the guys on the call, I want to play for you what might be my favorite song from the album. It's called Dummo Loop, and it's got a really neat video that they put together where they kind of mashed up a bunch of their favorite videos from the internet. It does come with an epilepsy warning, so if you are sensitive to flashing lights, I ask you to please look away from the screen and enjoy the music on its own. You don't need to see the video to love the song. Trust me on that one. But when we come back, we will have Luke and Gavin and Michael, all 3 of them, on the show, and it's going to be super fun, and I'm so excited. And for now, I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to play Dummo Loop. Woo! Who do you have right next to you right now? Well, we're live, just so you know. Are we gonna get a quick cameo, or do you want to save it for later? Come on down.
She's shy. She is shy. Fucking Sid, who is on Stallions, is
fucking
right next
Sid, everybody. Fucking Sid. It's okay. We didn't know we were gonna have a guest, so we already have 3 guests. How many more guests can I ask for?
Too many.
Well, everyone is excited.
Yep, we have a whole group of them in the closet just waiting.
Every Jimmy Swagger's back there.
Swagger's here.
Yeah, he's in the closet. He's chilling.
I just wanted to let the class know that Wavedash did confirm for me that Jimmy Swagger is a real person that they know. So absolutely, we are correct.
It's canon now.
And Sagiel says 3 hearts to Sid. So Sid, I hope you get that message, even if you don't want to come on screen. Everyone loves you in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if you guys could hear that. And Davey Crockett says, loved the Wavedash set as part of the Secret Sky show last year. So starting things off with a compliment.
Thanks, Crockett. We're big fans.
Yeah. Okay, so we were just watching the and Michael, you are just a little bit like, there you go. There you
How about
go.
that? Is that a little better?
Perfect. We're gonna make this 3-person window work. It's great.
I'll make it for you.
So talk to me about the Dummo loop video. That is what we were just watching, and I love that you took this angle of, fuck it, let's just take a bunch of videos that we like, let's put a bunch of scratchy visuals over it and call it our video. It's so great.
Yeah, that video is crazy. Gavin actually does like all of our videos.
Awesome.
The funny thing with that one was actually like we were getting kind of close to deadline time, and we ordered this like HDMI to AV input cable that would like essentially let you play computer videos from your computer to a CRT TV. Because we like actually play all of them on the CRT TV and then record the CRT and then edit it in post. So it's all being played on a real TV. But
oh, nice.
After in, it was like broken, and the colors were all like messed up.
Wait, so that wasn't like your creative direction?
It wasn't at all. But it kind of worked out, and we were kind of like, wait, this looks kind of cool. We ordered another one later, and we got like more clearer shots for some of the later promo videos. But yeah, no, all of the videos in general, that one specifically is like kind of a collection of like videos that we had taken over the years of like ourselves and of friends. So there's a lot of like sentimentality and like memories wrapped up in that video, and it was really nice to like give people a little like glimpse into our world.
Yeah, I love it. And I loved watching and trying to get like see all the Easter egg videos. Like I think you guys had crescendos in there, and certainly a Skrillex that now I can't remember, but I know I saw a Skrillex, and
There are a lot more very, very small ones.
ooh,
they're
yeah.
kind of
Scattered.
Yeah.
Kind of do the old classic Fight Club, like just put a single splice of a man's penis and see if anyone notices.
We should have.
Hey, there's chance. I mean, you could still, invite Jimmy Swagger over and make some weird secret porn videos for singles to
That's
come.
true.
We're gonna fix the Dummo loop video.
Yeah, the director's cut. Okay, it's the director's cut. So I have so many questions, and I want to ask so many things about World Famous Tour. But since I do have the distinct honor of being one of your rare interviews, I would love to learn a little bit more about you guys in general. So how did you all meet each other? Are you all from Austin? And like, what possessed you to trust each other enough to start a DJ trio? That's got to be so many cooks in the kitchen when you're mixing. I don't know.
Yeah.
That our go-to joke whenever asked how we all met, we usually just say we met on Tinder.
Of course. Grindr. You guys met on Grindr.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, we all met in middle school. We were pretty much the only 3 kids who liked electronic music at our school, and so naturally we sort of gravitated towards each other. And we started going to shows together, and like one of the first shows we all went to together was Skrillex and Alvin Risk.
Ooh.
When we were like 8th grade.
Yeah.
Damn.
A venue in this nearby town called New Braunfels. And the venue that we saw them at was this place called Whitewater Amphitheater, which actually doesn't exist anymore. I think.
Yeah.
It got like swept away in a storm.
I know.
In a
Like,
whitewater rafting?
Yeah, it's literally like right next to like a creek.
Yeah,
or
it was
something.
a really gorgeous venue. We were
It was really nice.
We were sad to hear about that.
Yeah.
Aw.
But we're all from different places, actually. I was born in Denver, Colorado.
Hey.
Gavin was born in LA, and Michael was born in Spokane, Washington.
Wow. Lucky you
Yeah.
guys all got moved into Austin.
Yeah.
And funny enough, we all of our parents, we all lived like 5 minutes from all of our houses. From like mine to Luke's house was 5 minutes. From Luke's to Gavin's, it was 5 minutes. From Gavin's to mine, it was 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
we would like, throughout like middle school and high school, we would just like ride bikes to each other's houses or
Yeah.
walk.
It was
or,
really easy to walk.
I love this. True. I now that you say that, I can feel the middle school buddy energy between it's something very unique, that vibe of being like in 8th grade and riding your bike over to your friend's house to play Smash Brothers, perhaps? Is that where the Wavedash name comes from? Uh-oh, did you You see me. Okay. Are we live on the Twitch? I don't know why this is happening, y'all. I'm so sorry. I
No,
really
that's
am.
all right. Absolutely no worries at all. This has already been incredible.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad. I just want to make sure before I keep going that anyone can still hear me. Do you guys see it on your Twitch or anything? Like, if I have to restart it again, I'll do it. But
I was about to check, and then you came back up. So
okay. Well, just let me know. Let me know if we're still down. Sorry.
No, you're
okay.
You're so
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
It says we're good now. I don't know. I don't know who to trust. People are saying we're back. I'll never love again. This is just how it goes. Okay. Anyways, that's what I get for talking about fucking 8th grade, okay? Like, 8th grade and I did not have a good time together. But anyways, I was trying to bring up the fact, and hi, Kudo1, hi, I see you. I'm so glad that everyone is still hanging with us.
I want to put a funny comment real quick. Maya says, Wavedash, why do you hate your fans?
It's true. I know. There have been some wonderful Jimmy Swagger jokes. I'm glad that I am helping create the myth of Jimmy Swagger. I hope that there becomes like a whole spin-off EP that's just the epic tale of Jimmy Swagger. Anyways, so I gather that you guys took your name from Super Smash Brothers.
Yes. Correct.
That's good. We are massive fans.
What are your do you have go-to Smash Brother characters, or do you like to play? Okay, what are they? List them off.
In Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is the only one you should be playing.
Okay, duly noted.
That was so bad. Bad game.
I play Fox 20XX type shit.
Nice.
I play Marth.
Stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, he plays Marth. I play Falco.
Falco, that's my dude right there. I love Falco.
Falco main with a little bit of a. I got a pocket Peach.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we're on the same
Not
level.
that much anymore. Which, thank goodness, because I hate playing against it.
Who's the best player? Are you saying that Michael is?
Yeah, Michael still plays. He's actually started playing a lot more recently too, but me and Luke don't really play anymore. Yeah.
It's definitely it's a tough game to kind of like
stick with
because it is really hard and really competitive
and demanding.
Do you guys mean like to stick with? Like, did you guys ever compete? Like, you're not just playing with each other?
We used to on a very casual level, but there's just a lot of like technical skill that goes into like playing the game at like a high level, and even then we're not even like close to that level. But you know, attempting to play at that level requires a lot of like muscle memory and like really precise like inputs, which like takes like months, if not years, to get down.
That game is so crazy.
Melee has like a higher input per minute than like StarCraft. It's like a really.
That's not true.
That's not true.
There's no way.
It is.
I don't.
Yo, StarCraft is like.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Was that wild and crazy, or was he talking truth?
I believe it.
Hey, listen, I may have pulled that out of my ass.
Someone fact checked us on I believe it.
It's okay. Well, Cridges, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to Porter Robinson. I don't believe it. Is Porter Robinson in the chat? Because that's too fucking crazy. And Porter Robinson, you're very invited to Catcalls after your album drops. Thank you.
So awesome.
Bug X30 says they'll beat Michael at Smash Bros every day.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna take that? Are you gonna take that challenge? Actually, why don't you guys? Have you guys ever like taken your skills to streaming? Like, do you guys want to do that?
No, we kind of toyed with it over the last year.
I mean, but what other year could you have toyed with it more?
And I don't know. We didn't really feel like you had mentioned, we haven't done a ton of press prior to this, and we've kind of enjoyed being mostly private people.
Yeah.
And so like streaming, like we felt like if we were ever going to stream like Smash or just anything in general, even when it comes to like DJ sets and stuff, which we've only done 2 of in the past year. We like felt like it needed to be like really special. Like when we do things, it's usually like all or nothing, which like a lot of the time is like great and pays off, but like also kind of has its downfalls sometimes.
Because it does take a lot of thought and preparation and.
But I could see us, you know, now that the album's out, we're a lot more willing to have like a lot of fun and like connect with and stuff. So it's
World
definitely
famous Smash
maybe
Bros.
it's-
Tour. World famous Smash Bros. Tour.
It's really fun to get together.
We used to one of the last
Tournament.
shows we played before COVID was in the Dominican Republic. It was for this festival called Holy Shipwrecked.
Oh yeah, of course. I like how you're like this festival called Holy Ship. You might have heard of it. I don't know.
And there was actually a Super Smash Bros. Tournament there at the hotel. I think the Slander guys hosted it.
Yeah.
Because they're also really big into Smash. Scott specifically is quite good at Melee, which is the one we play. He's played before we were born because he's an old coot. But,
Subtle shade. I love it. The respect and the shade. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I think that was probably the last time we've all played together.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I want to play fans every show.
Yeah.
We'll just instead of having an opener, we'll just have a Melee set up on stage and people can line up and get their butts kicked.
Yeah.
I'm truly here for that level of nerddom all day, every day. I will admit, I'm not a big Smash player. I will fuck anyone up on Mario Kart as Baby Peach.
Bold
But-
claim.
Very bold
Because
claim.
everyone thinks they're good at Mario.
Everyone.
Yeah,
thinks
that's
they're
true.
good.
Well, not everybody's me. What can I say? But I am a button smasher, but I would happily button smash at your show if you set up a Melee station.
Let's make it happen.
I am not shocked to hear that you put a lot of thought into everything because I heard that you were working on World Famous Tour, the album, not to be confused with the World Famous Tour, which is hopefully coming soon to a vaccinated club near you. But
Exactly.
I heard you guys were working on this for 4 years. Is that accurate?
It's kind of accurate. It's like the first demo started in 2016, but to be honest, I would say that the bulk of the album was done and really started to take shape around 2019.
Okay.
Since 2016, there was very loose ideas of an album, and I kind of just was the one pushing that initially. I don't think anyone else was even thinking about that, but then I just kept throwing it out there, and then it eventually just all clicked, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna do an album.
Yeah.
Why was that something you wanted to keep pushing? What is it about albums that was important to you?
Well, it was just this one idea, really. It was the By Any Means idea that was started, and I was just like, oh, this feels like something that we haven't done before. This needs to be on an album.
I love that.
I don't know why. It was just for some reason that song needed to be on an album.
To piggyback off of that too, we I think pretty much everybody we look up to artistically does albums, and there's something really tangible and special about the lasting effect that a good album can have on your life.
Yeah.
Whether it's going for a quick drive somewhere, or if if you're on a plane somewhere, there's always everybody's got that one that they're I have enough time to listen to this, and we kind of wanted to make something like that for people. It's also not fairly common, I think, at our level of the point we're at in our career to do an album, but we felt it was pretty necessary to push ourselves forward, not only as people but as artists also, and to sort of separate ourselves from the pack a bit and be we can do the single thing, which is very lucrative for our career, but we would kind of want to take a step back and express a bit more than that.
Absolutely. Well, and like I said to you guys yesterday when we connected for a quick practice chat, I highly commend you for that, and I think you did a great job. I got the album in full sent to me about a month ago to listen, and I put it on and I didn't turn it off. I was just I'm on this journey now, and that is a great accomplishment, and I praise you for taking that risk, if you want to call it a risk, because I'm sure there were moments where it was were you being told in one year, hey, maybe you guys should just be putting out single, and building, and then you decide, oh, I don't know, I'm going to take this other route where maybe we're a little more rare. I mean, even just choosing not to do interviews.
Everyone was telling us just to keep doing singles.
Mm-hmm.
The entire time, we were doing this, it's just we should just be doing singles. But then
We had
The
one.
longer it went on, it was just like, no, just wait. Just
Yeah, now you've already come this far.
trust us.
We have that song Lemonades. I guess I was gonna say we have that one song Lemonades, but it's out now, so everyone's aware of it. So yes, it's the song Lemonades on our album was like something that we were playing at shows a lot, and like had kind of shown friends behind the scenes, and we had like done a couple like guest like appearance B2Bs with the Nightmare and Slander guys, and we'd always played that song. And I mean, yeah, the most logical thing to do would to have been put the song out at that like peak hype, which was like ultra like 2018 or 19 maybe. But yeah, we thankfully have the most patient management on earth. Our manager Connie's song is quite literally.
Shout out Connie. I saw her in the chat.
She is an angel and really, really let us stick to our guns and make this thing happen as like a long form project.
Yay, Connie, yay, you guys. I have to ask, I love how it, I think part of what makes it so gripping right away is you start with that vocal sample where the girl's like, tell me it's perfect. Tell me it's this. And then I love that the guy says, these are just words from other people's songs. And she's like, yeah, but I put them together. And first of all, I want to know where that's from, if you can say. Second of all, I love that as just a statement because so much of electronic music culture is like taking samples from other songs. And I'd love to hear if you guys have samples you can talk about on the album and like, and that is a whole lot of what this culture is about, is it's like, but I put it together. So yeah.
Gavin, actually, we had a different vocal introing that album for the longest time, and we were gonna ship the album with it probably, and then like it was probably like 2 weeks before the album.
Yeah,
wow.
It was definitely some fourth quarter stuff. Me and my girlfriend were just watching Pixel Perfect for some reason. It's like an old Disney Channel original movie.
Amazing.
Yeah, we were just like, it was just like one of those like bedtime like going to sleep type movies, and just like. We were like, okay, she really likes it. And then when we were watching it, I like she started saying the like monologue, and I was like, oh my god, there's no way. This is literally like completely perfect.
Yeah.
This is exactly what our album is. And so
we swapped it out.
It's
there's
great.
some notable samples on the record. I think Gavin picked the other one at the end of By Any Means, which is part of an Eartha Kitt monologue.
Oh, very cool. I was wondering about that one too.
It was.
Originally, we put it on shift, and then I remember we were showing it to friends, and they're like, yeah, I like this vocal sample, but this doesn't fit on this song. This isn't the vibe. So it's like...
And so that was also a fourth quarter decision where we were... we actually had like on a notepad somewhere, we had like a list of songs that we felt like could like... Or a list of samples, that we felt like could... close out the album properly. And we ultimately went with a clip of George Lucas on 60 Minutes talking about the release of Star Wars Episode 3. And yeah, we're huge fans of Star Wars, George Lucas in general. And we really felt
there
like...
it is, the port.
Yes.
I just had to bring it out for you guys.
Yeah.
We're also notorious. We're notorious...
prequel likers? Is that what you're going to say?
Prequel likers.
We love the prequels.
1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Not 2. We think
Okay. 2 is pushing it. 2 is too far.
Phantom Menace is so good.
Yeah.
People are like...
I'm with you guys. I like the Phantom Menace. I was a kid when it came out, and I was like super hyped for it, and I think it's enjoyable. Pod racing? Who doesn't like a pod? Pod racing is basically the invention of American dubstep, by the way. So, like,
there's actually in the last drop of our song "Bang," that noise, kind of we had a friend of ours, a guy named Joseph Howard, kind of who's the one who kind of pushed that song to get finished. I think he was the one who said that the last drop, that noise sounded like a pod racer noise,
and
that was like
racing song.
Yeah, which we kind of like really loved that compliment. That kind of stuck with us.
But Yeah, no, the samples are all over the place, and you're right on the money about your interpretation of the Pixel Perfect quote. I think it also has to do a lot with our influences. We're pretty proudly wearing our influences on our sleeve on this record, which is something that I think a lot of artists tend to sort of shy away from in fear of being like found out or ridiculed or for whatever reason, but
not being seen as like original, maybe.
Right, but our like sort of gut feeling on that is that like if you really like something, the best thing you can do is like lift it up and like share it with people. And so I think not only is the sample on Find Yourself a bit of a reference to like like sort of the roots of electronic music being largely sample based, but also on a more abstract level with like, you know, theoretically in some people's minds like taking lines from other songs and making them our own or whatever is like something we're not terribly like
embarrassed of
or anything.
Well, I love that, and I agree. I think that that's just and I want to say as well that I do feel that I can sense some of where your musical influences lie, but you really deliver it in your own style. I didn't listen to World Famous Tour and think I've heard this before. I thought this is very intriguing, but it sounds familiar in all the right ways. Like someone like me, who's a big fat music nerd, who's listened to all kinds of different stuff through the years and likes to devour things in that way, likes to see the little flag posts. Like something I really like about hip hop music and that they will do is they will use lines from rap songs that are old in their songs, and it feels like you're in on the joke with them, right? If you get it, you're like, oh, I'm cool. I got that Nas reference or whatever. And that's kind of like what you're doing. Talk to me about some of those musical influences that you were daring enough to share with the world on this album.
Of the more obvious ones, definitely Rusty. There's a big kind of Stallions as a whole is a bit of an homage to Slasher by Rusty, which is
a jam.
One of the coolest songs ever.
I dare you to find a better future-based song.
I feel like everybody remembers the first time they heard Slasher.
Like,
or at least we do. Rusty's a huge one.
Hudson Mohawk as well.
Hudson Mohawk's
Hudson Mohawk and Lunas, Tonight Project. Big
Jamie
XX, Skrillex, Porter.
I saw you guys had Jamie XX in your Dummo Loop video.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah. Little Easter egg. But Kanye West, Aphex Twin. It's all over the place. But I feel like J. Paul's a huge one.
Bon Iver. Like, the more we think about it, it goes forever.
But I feel like Michael hit the big ones for sure.
Those are all great, and everyone in the chat is agreeing with you. Everyone loves Rusty. Noelle Christine thinks Luke and Hudson are twins. Unpopular opinion. I don't know if that's a secret. Someone
Scottish accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Maya227 even just dropped a Justin Vernon Hart. That's how you know they're a real fan. They went for the full name. Not the Bon Iver.
JV Love.
Oh, fucking Sid loves my shoulder friend. Thanks, fucking Sid. Well, I love getting all of those in, and I don't know why people would be afraid to show their love for such things and put it all in an album.
I think it's like it's a relatively new thing. I think with like social media, like you can be like. You can be anybody in the world, and you share your art on Twitter, and equally anybody else in the world can be right below you on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like it's like kind of this like weird like and so like
that's true.
You like share your your new song, and I think a lot of people's like knee-jerk reaction just to like quickly like get an opinion out on something is like, oh, this sounds like this, and like a bit of like a gotcha way where it's like, oh, like you're not terribly slick. Like I know where you're like, I know what you're listening to. I know where you got this from. And I think like a lot of artists tend to like hear those kinds of things and like get like shocked a bit and like take a step back and they're like, oh, like I like this doesn't sound enough like me or whatever, and I think, I don't know, I just think it's like sort of carried this negative stigma over time. And I don't know, we just, we don't really feel that way. I think honestly, a lot of that actually came from Porter. Truth be told, like he is really like rubbed off on us quite a bit in terms of like having like a really like happy and like fun attitude towards things. And I think like, I don't know, that's made me like, in general, he's made me a whole lot less self-conscious about like our music, like sounding like XYZ. Like throughout the entire process of making this thing, he was constantly saying like, oh, I don't feel like you guys have anything to prove to anybody, which was like really like sound advice.
Yeah, that's great advice. And he that's nice to hear, because he also seems to be kind of like a flag bearer for that attitude, right? Like he a few times now has been like, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah, totally.
Do you think that sort of thinking is more pervasive in the bass music world? Because I think that's kind of where you guys first made your entrance, and I could see how maybe like dubstep producers or bass heavy producers could feel a little bit more of that pressure to like stay hard, almost like in the way that like heavy metal bands in the 80s and 90s or something, like, oh no, you made a ballad, or like you sold out, or some sort of weird shit like that.
I think you're right on the money. It was especially kind of, our roots are obviously in, you know, dubstep and bass music and all that fun stuff. And I remember we were kind of, it got a little frustrating for us, I think, because that was like kind of that is a big talking point amongst a lot of artists. And it's kind of, instead of sort of,
it's like everybody's trying to make like the craziest sound.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of got their own technique. So like if you're really in tune with what's going on in the scene, you can hear a song without knowing who it is, and you can pick up on little things, and you can say, oh, I can tell that this is XYZ, whatever.
Wow, that's good.
Like, I mean, I feel like the classic scenario with that was like whenever like Skrillex and Zomboy had their like All Is Fair and like Terror Squad thing, where, you know, those two songs like simultaneously coexisted, and like it was sort of like this chicken or the egg moment. And like, I don't know, there was a, you know, from there on out, I feel like everybody was commenting on everyone's songs being like, oh, this sounds like Terror Squad, you know, which was like kind of turned into a meme at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely a very competitive scene to be in. And I think our heart like got less and less in that sort of like competition of like trying to make the like newest and like biggest and craziest sound, because like we felt like we had accomplished that in a lot of ways. I think like we really felt like we, you know, I don't know, we've made a whole lot of bass music, and it's all really good. And so we feel really fulfilled in that. And I think, you know, this album was an opportunity to like show people like, hey, like, you know, we can, you know, we have like Lemonades and Ultra Cover on the album, but we also have like Don't Fight It and like Shift on the album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they all come from the same three people, you know, because that was actually a big talking point. I remember for a while was if we were going to cut the bass songs on the album or not, because we didn't want the record to be too jarring to people who's like, that maybe wasn't their jam. But we ultimately landed on this like decision where we were like, no, this is all us. This is all like a part of us as people. These are all like things that we relate to, things that we like. And so like, you know, what's the point of like dumbing that down for somebody else, or like not being fully authentic with this thing? So
there's a really great tweet from A-Track where he says something along the lines of, we all listen to different types of music, so why are we all playing the same songs in our sets? And I think that like, we were like,
a very aha
moment. We were like, oh yeah, you know, that makes sense. It's a different music.
Yeah, it's true. I've commented a few times how I feel like in quarantine with so many DJs jumping on Twitch, I feel like it's given DJs an opportunity to be a little bit more varied in the stuff that they play, because it's one thing if you're playing to a club and then you take your USB to another club 3 hours later, or like somewhere else or whatever. But if everyone's tuning into your stream, they don't want to hear the same set like every night. So you're kind of like, let me flex this DJ muscle.
And speaking on that, like you're totally right. Like that was sort of like the ethos behind our Secret Sky set was, you know, we played a lot of songs in there that we might not play in a club setting. You know, we played songs from like the Japanese House and Jai Paul and 1975, all of these bands and artists that we like really love. And we were like, look, like we're like not like having to read a room here like this, like, you know, we can make this set like quite literally like, you know, whatever we want it to be. And so we took a lot of pride in like really meticulously planning that set and making sure that it was like chock full of music that we love that like might not, you know, we might never play again in a DJ set, but given the circumstances, it felt like the right time.
Okay, there's things I want to ask, but the chat is going nuts, and they have things to say, and I don't want to ignore them, so I'm going to start asking some things from the chat.
Cool.
People are all saying your Secret Sky set was so good. Saros wants to know if it will go on Vimeo, because I guess it was struck down on YouTube. Is there plans to release the set?
It's on Vimeo right now. Yeah, it's just vimeo.com/wavedash. It's the only video we have uploaded.
There you go. It's one of the rare pieces of Wavedash content out there on the internet. Okay, Leica from Space says, trapped on an island with 3 video games. What are they? Which is nice, because there's 3 of you. I guess you all get to bring one.
We each pick one.
Are we picking League of Legends?
No.
I don't know. It's pretty good.
Hey, well, you get your pick.
Yeah, you get
I like that you asked the class, though. Very democratic. You guys must be very democratic with each other to have stayed friends since 8th grade and make an album together.
Totally.
I feel like we have to pick like some sort of board game. Actually, I feel like
that's a good idea. I think Melee is obviously one. Super Smash Bros.
Melee would be a fun one
because you can play that game for eternity.
You could, yeah.
There's no skill cap. You can you can only get better.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Do we have internet on this island?
That's
like, what's the deal?
Let's say we got internet.
Let's say we got internet. We can pick any game.
Yeah. It's Wi-Fi Island. Wi-Fi Island.
Exactly.
Wi-Fi Island.
I feel like maybe I feel like a VR game would be fun too. Just like get ourselves like VR chat would be a great one. I feel like
that's a great.
I'm gonna pick VR chat
because you could still talk to people and socialize.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, so we got VR chat, Melee and
Uno.
I love that.
Oh, well, it's smart of you not to bring Monopoly, because Monopoly ends friendships, and if you're stuck together, don't bring.
Gavin's always suggesting we play Monopoly, and nobody ever wants to play it.
Chaos Agent, look at you.
I'm gonna play Monopoly.
Monopoly's great.
I think staying away from Monopoly, Risk, and Catan is usually like a good. Those are usually the like leaving the dinner table angry games.
Yeah.
It's true. Okay, people are saying GeoGuessr. What's that? What's GeoGuessr game?
That's a good one.
It's a web browser game, and basically you're put in the middle of nowhere in the world.
It utilizes Google Maps Street View.
Okay, so like geocaching and stuff like that. Like, I guess is why it's called that.
It like drops you into like a Google Maps Street View of like somewhere in the world, and you have to pull up a globe and like
you have to find out where you are.
Find out where you are by like looking at like street signs, looking at like
That's cool.
It's quite fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay, really fun. I'll play that. All right. Blue, blue, blue. Need Creations wants to know if all 3 of you will be performing at the same time from now on, or what's the plan?
Yes. Every single Wavedash show from now on will be all 3 of us.
Yes, we've been vaguely talking amongst ourselves and starting to make like live edits and just sort of in general thinking about what this album looks and sounds like on a stage, since that's hopefully in the near future. And yeah, all 3 of us being at every show is a big priority of ours, and we're hoping to do like a little less DJing and a little more like playing music.
Yeah.
Like we've been toying with and trying to figure out how we're gonna like
perform these songs.
Because like Alive 2007 by like Daft Punk is like a huge like whatever. Yeah, exactly. it's a huge influence on us, and so I think it's always kind of been in the cards from even since we were really young to like kind of do something along those lines.
Hell yeah. I noticed that when I was checking out your what was it called? The virtual. It's like 5 months now. I can't. Virtual Vibes show. That was what it was, right? Okay, I'm sorry. I was like, what if I fuck this up? The Virtual Vibes show. You guys had like 4 turntables set up. I mean, had you ever performed all 3 of you together before that?
Yeah. That was like we kind of divide to make sure all of us have something to do while DJing.
You mean one person's not going to be the like hands up guy?
I mean, yeah. Sometimes when like things are going on, like. One person can like grab the mic and do whatever, but one person is on 2 decks, one person does the mixer, and then the other person does the other 2 decks.
Because we found that because we've been DJing together for a really long time, and whenever we found it really kind of frustrating sometimes whenever we would all 3 be playing a show and it would just, we would all be kind of like awkwardly shuffling around and like putting the like headphone cord like over the give to the next person, or like
that's kind of
trying to like scoot underneath somebody. It was all just, it felt a bit awkward and could get kind of confusing at times. And so this is a good way where we all stick in one spot. Yeah. And we all know the music. We all know what songs are on the USB because we loaded them. So it's good to, we can just kind of like, whoever's on the mixer can look over, see what track somebody's queuing in, and
they know.
Quite frequently we get comments that are like, how many people does it take to DJ? And it's like, well, one smartass.
Yeah.
It's fun to do things with friends. Like, do you have any friends? Like,
that's a good response.
Isn't it fun to do things with your homies? I don't know.
Are you guys Justice fans?
Big Justice.
Yeah, big Justice fans.
Did you see the tour that they did most recently, where they were?
We actually, well, not in person, sadly, but we watched that. They just uploaded it to YouTube, I think, recently, like a long form video.
I'm seeing visions of you 3 having your spots that you can all hit and get to. I'm like,
quite literally what the upgraded version of the new Wavedash thing is going to be. It's like one of us is going to be doing something, whether it's like DJing songs or playing the live songs or doing visuals on stage.
Ooh, that's really cool.
Yes.
That's really crazy that you would mention that, because
we literally actually have been referencing that.
We were watching that
closely
in the living room, like talking about like how we could do like something like a setup similar, because we think they look quite cool on stage.
They look very cool.
Also, shout out, big influence of ours since we were wee lads, the M Machine.
Yes.
They would also 3 people. We actually really liked how there would be 2 people DJing and 1 person would be doing all the visuals on stage. We thought that was a great idea because who else would know, the visual cues better than
the person making the show?
Exactly.
Absolutely. So, and Gavin, you already do the visuals for the videos, so someone here knows how to do something with lights.
Exactly.
Thankfully, we also have a bunch of like really great friends who like do VJing and like know the setups, and like it would not be too much to ask for like help with that,
right?
Like getting that all situated. So feel very thankful for that.
Screw it up. Did you guys all learn to DJ together? By the way, was that like
sort of pretty much?
We actually told this story recently, but for some reason in like late middle school, like early high school, Gavin had like a full-on PA system at his house.
Because you stole it? It's all right. I won't tell anybody.
Looking back on it in retrospect, we were kind of like, why did your mom buy you a PA system? Like, that seems like way too much power to give like a 14, however old we were at the time. But we used to like throughout the week at school or whatever, we'd plan on like DJing at Gavin's house on like Friday night or something. And so throughout the week, like we would all like pull songs on SoundCloud and like try and find like new like cool bangers to impress each other with. And then on like Fridays or Saturdays, we would go over to Gavin's house and set up his like Tractor S2 and like these speakers, and we would just like DJ in his backyard for like literally like sometimes it was just us sometimes for like hours. It was just the 3 of us. We also used to occasionally lug like a TV into Gavin's backyard and like set up Smash Bros in the backyard, so 2 of us could play and 1 of us could DJ. It was quite the setup, and honestly, not much has changed.
We did that pretty much like every weekend for I don't even remember how long.
Yeah, and it's pretty much the same thing now. I feel like when we have like we have like a pair of CDJs at home to practice with and stuff, and like. It literally the same thing will happen where sometimes like we'll be feeling like DJing for each other on Friday or something, so we'll like do the same thing. We'll get songs together, we'll set up the CDJs, we'll throw Smash on the TV, and just
Dude,
not much has changed.
Quarantine has been sick over at the Wavedash HQ. Not a problem. Dana Swag 420 says Wavedash lore is so wholesome, and I agree. It's great. The magic here. But yeah, somebody did. Eric redeemed a request a fun fact, and I'm going to throw that to you guys. What's a fun fact from making the album? Whether it's something kind of behind the scenes or maybe a little Easter egg in the album that you're willing to share with the fans.
Fun fact or Easter egg? I guess a little fun fact might be that our last body of work, our EP opening ceremony, was originally supposed to be a prelude to the album.
Oh.
A lot of the songs were on the early draft of the album when album was first being discussed. And then we just started that plan. We released it, and then like right after that, 2019, we just completely changed the whole memo of what it was going to be.
Along with that too, this isn't as much of a well-kept secret now that the song's out, but in the song Death Wish, which is on that EP,
which also has vocals from
Sydney, who's sitting over here too shy to
Fucking
say hi.
Sid. Shy Sid, we love you.
The last 10 seconds of that song are actually an old version of Stallions.
I love that.
It's been there since 2019. It's technically been
2018.
2018. It's technically been on the internet as a thing since 2018, and that song came out, and there was literally, I think there was a handful of people who were oh my gosh, I recognize this. I know where this is from, and they went back and listened to Death Wish, and they were holy crap, this has been in front of my eyes this entire time, and we just never knew.
That's awesome. Blames Jake Lee is saying, I thought so. So people are onto your tricks. Oh, and Slander was in the chat. Slander was asking who's the best Smash player, but you already all admitted that Michael is the best Smash player.
Yes.
Vix Bottom, which is a very interesting name, wants to know if the 100 EP on Spotify when is exactly their question. Not an if, a when.
Man.
When.
Yo, we'll just address it. We self-released that EP, and we forgot to renew the
license,
the TuneCore license that keeps it on streaming services. So it got taken off. We've been talking about putting it back on, but I think Gavin had mentioned, we feel the songs have been around for so long now, and they don't feel like a huge integral part of Wavedash as a band moving forward. But with that being said, the amount of people that have asked for this EP to be back up on our socials is too many. So I don't know. We were thinking about maybe throwing a little download link somewhere in our Discord or
maybe throw it up on
our
Bandcamp
website, something.
Bandcamp's a good one. Everyone, if y'all aren't on Bandcamp supporting your favorite artists, you need to get on that. Bandcamp Fridays, first Friday of every month. The money goes straight to the artists.
True.
Oh, very cool.
We love support. Gavin didn't even know. See, you learned. That's another fun fact for you. And Kiki wants to know if you've had water today, and it is very important to stay hydrated. So
that's Water Guy from the Discord, from the Wavedash Discord.
That's our boy who's in our Discord.
Oh, nice.
All I've got is coffee. I apologize.
And kudos. That's okay. Coffee is the nectar of the gods, my lord.
What do you make coffee out of?
Yeah, water. Exactly.
It's just muddy water. That's all. It's bean water. We love bean water. Kudo1 wants to know what it's like performing at a drive-in show, and I'm curious about this as well.
Michael's the only person that's done that for me.
All right. Well, Michael, what's it like?
It was one. We've been kind of, I guess for obvious reasons, very iffy about them. And there was one that we did that we thought seemed, or I guess I was the only one who did it, because we just couldn't fly all two of us out, two others. But yeah, it was interesting. It was pretty safe for the most part. I was glad it wasn't worse, but it was still for sure.
I remember Michael coming back and saying that it feels like you're bombing your set the entire time because you're not getting any real feedback.
Yeah, so it was very strange.
And I think I don't think our shows really translate that well to something like a drive-in. Like, I think, like, as much as, like, people feed off of us, like, we equally feed off of the crowd a lot.
Yeah.
And so...
because beeping isn't quite the same. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's
especially because we had some friends at that show. And I remember just being like so embarrassed being on stage, being like, oh my God, I can't tell if this is going well or if like...
I don't think they're really well suited for the kind of music that we play and like the things that we like want to do on stage. So hopefully we'll see some semblance of normalcy soon and can get back to our ragers.
I'm sorry, I had to laugh a little bit because everyone in the chat was noticing someone was being sneaky behind you, and I think we got a little bit of twerk action that no one could really see, but I saw a little bit.
That was Jimmy Swagger.
Jimmy Swagger, what are you doing? Get out of here. No, we love you, Jimmy Swagger. This is a cool question. Say GL. And just to say, yeah, I'm hoping as well that like everyone gets vaccinated and you guys get to have a proper world famous tour. Where you get to do your Justice Daft Punk, your version of a live Woman Worldwide.
We're ready.
But yeah, SayGL wants to know, why do you guys feel like you gravitated toward Victoriousness as the general emotion of the album? Like, can you speak to how that emotion related or didn't relate to your lives over the course of the album? Very cool question.
Great question. Very great question.
I think we've, in relation to the album, when we started kind of writing it, we were teenagers, and kind of that age range of like 18 to like 21 to 22 is I think it's a really, really big kind of turning point in people's lives, and you're working on transitioning into an adult. And like a functioning human.
Sometimes functioning more than other times.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of this album is we kind of grew up with this album a little bit. This album was here with us from moving out of our parents' houses into like moving in with each other, and the decision not to go to college, and
that must have been a big decision too.
Yeah, totally. And so it was. I think there's a lot of, the first house we moved into. I think we were all kind of really figuring out how to live together and like function, and I think there was definitely a big point, at least for me, in kind of the first house where a lot of the demos were written, that I was kind of in a really big creative rut, and I was full of self-doubt and felt really bad about anything I was writing, and I just, wasn't feeling too hot on music. And over the course of the next few years, it's something we've all kind of like worked on together and overcome in a sense. And I think we're in a spot right now where we're very confident and happy with the music we make and how things turned out, and kind of the importance of us making music together. And that perspective that's really unique to us, and kind of, I guess, sort of like the whole attitude and idea of the album as a whole can be closely related to how we feel as people about making art. And so I think there's a lot of, there's personal victory in that for us.
I feel terribly happy about the way we captured. I feel like we did a great job of capturing, like, sort of like Michael had mentioned, like the emotion and like the sort of feeling that came along with like living together for the first time. Like, there's big formative moments in like our careers as like artists too, like, things like playing EDC for the first time. We played like an art car, and there were like thousands of people there at like an art car, which like isn't even like a real like stage at EDC. And we were like expecting a couple hundred people to be there, and it was, a ton. And, it's little things like that we really tried to like, I think, like hold on to and bottle up and like sort of give to people. And yeah, I think above all, we did like a Reddit AMA yesterday, and somebody asked us like, oh, like, how do you like go about like finding your unique sound? And like Gavin had said something that I like thought was really good, which is like, I think ultimately it's just about like digging like really deep and like searching within yourself to find like what you love about like music and like making music in general. and sort of just like holding on to that very tightly and like, conveying that as well as you can through your music. And like I said, I feel like we all did the best job of that we like possibly could have.
Yeah, great answers. Everyone in the chat is crying happy tears. And I loved your statement about the EDC art car and like bottling up that emotion. That feels really good because the fans, the people in the audience are giving you that emotion and then giving it back to them because it's kind of like, oh, neat. Like the victorious energy is coming from you guys. You're the victorious energy. It's awesome. 6 Cents Taken asked, where does the vocal sample at the beginning of Void come from, if you can answer that?
That is from the very first Silent Hill game.
Nice. You got to keep video games as a theme.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You got to always...
That's the thread tying everything together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Ole Kiki wants to know if Le Mount Toujours edit would be real. LMAO.
we have our friend Morgan who makes music under the name Shady and did this edit of that song that we had actually I always forget about this, but we in March of last year, actually, we were supposed to do a B2B at Ultra Music Festival. It was going to be all 4 of us, and we were booked, and like it was announced, and it was going to be like this huge moment for us because like he's also been someone who's been with us for quite some time as like a homie. We've known each other since I think like 2017, maybe 18, and so we were getting together like a bunch of edits for that set, and it was just going to be like chock full of like only like Wavedash and Shady and original music.
Cool.
And around that time, he made that edit. And it's great, and I think he's put it up, his version up on the internet somewhere as far as I'm aware. But the version that we play is slightly edited by Gavin to be just a little
more
Wavedashy.
Just a dash of wave.
Exactly.
Just a dash of wave.
No plans to put that out anywhere. I think you'll have to buy a ticket to one of our shows to come to hear that loud. So
Ding ding ding. Love that. And then here's one from Ghostboy25. I don't know what happened to the first 24 Ghost Boys, but what was the process like getting the featured artists onto each song? Did you envision a specific artist or lyrics on a track before making it, or were the lyrics added after the instrumental was done?
That's a great question.
Thank you, Ghostboy25.
Both. We're not particularly good at lyricism.
But luckily we have friends who are.
Yeah, we kind of go in with like some chords. We've gotten better at like making room for vocals in songs. It's actually a much tougher thing to do than one might think because you can very easily overload a song with stuff without vocals, and then you try to get vocals on it, and then it just doesn't work. Specifically because you haven't made room for those vocals yet.
Right.
So we're very thankful that we've kind of gone to these friends with ideas for vocals, and they've just like absolutely nailed what needed to be done.
Everyone who's done vocals on our record has been a close friend of ours. Like Sydney, I've known Sydney since 2017, maybe. Yeah, she says
much earlier.
I met Sydney when I was in like high school, and her and her fiance actually moved here to Austin recently.
Hey, welcome!
Which has been great because we've got to see each other a lot more. But yeah, that song was like also like we had some placeholder vocals on Stallions. I think
we actually had the language vocals on Stallions, and that's why that's
really.
For the longest time, they were just the language vocals, and I was just like, this is fine for now.
That's so funny.
Pretty much all of the vocals, were like our friends, like ideas melodically, lyrically, like it was all of them, and we kind of just like gave it all up to them to like do their thing, and they crushed it every time. Sydney crushed it on Stallions. Our friend Jimmy, who does music under the name James Ivy, did the outro vocals on Void. That was like his.
I'm pretty sure everyone who did vocals on this record, it like totally just did it on their first try.
Yeah,
wow,
especially
nice.
Sydney's like was first try, and we like toyed with like her doing new ideas, and like it just was never as good as the first one.
Yeah. And
Wiley.
The Wiley one was like, yeah, that was a song that Michael, the original demo was like, had no vocals. It was like this like sort of like gospel-y like sample on it. And I remember like thinking like, oh, we should get a vocal on this. And we were like kind of thinking about who it could be. And me and Wiley had kind of started talking recently just as homies getting to know each other. And I was like, oh my God, like he would crush it on this. And so I just kind of sent it to him and was like, hey, like, you know, Wiley makes like mostly like sort of like singer-songwritery, like really like fantastic like pop music. And we were, you know, it's always a little weird like asking somebody to sing on an EDM song because you're like not ever really sure if that's like their jam or not, or if like you want to whatever. And so I was like, hey, like this is kind of like really in like this like Uber demo stage, but like, would you want to like try something on this? And he like literally just sent back that intro vocal, and we were like, this is beyond
perfect.
good. And then, after that, we made the breakdown section into the sort of like drum and bass section, and that was open-ended again. And we sent it to him again, and I was like, hey man, like do your thing. And he literally sent back that what is the final vocal on that song, and we were like,
it was literally like less than a day later.
Yeah, it was like we play. I was like, I remember sitting on the couch in here being like, oh, like wow, Wiley just sent vocals, and we listened to it. We were all just like, wow,
perfect.
like that is so good. So yeah, it was a lot of just trusting our friends who are beyond talented.
And on Void in particular, Jimmy has actually always had vocals on Void, but in different capacities throughout the years and the various demos. At one point, there was like rap vocals from him on there. There was like a section where he was rapping.
He probably doesn't want people to know that.
Another fun fact. Gotta buy a ticket to the live show. You'll hear the rap edit.
But it was also one of those things where like we had kind of structured the song a little differently and changed it up, and it was one of those things. Jimmy was busy working on a bunch of his solo music at the time, which is all fantastic, by the way. It's really, really, really good.
Really insane.
And it was kind of like last moment, album's like about to get turned in, and we were like, all right, bro,
step up, please.
Let's go. It's go time. And he sent back that vocal, and we were like,
but that vocal also too, for the longest time, and I think it was this way in our Secret Sky mix, if I'm correct, was the acapella from this song Moon Song by the M Machine, which again is a huge influence from from us as kids and whatever. And we actually like had been fortunate enough to like get to know Swarty, who's in the M Machine band for the last couple of years, and so we were pretty tight. And after a while, we had those as placeholders, but we were sort of like getting this feeling that we might not be able to replace them. And so we had a call with Swarty, and we were like, hey, like, would you be comfortable like just letting us use this? And he was like, yeah, like full send, honestly, like I love this song, I love you guys, like if you want to use this, like you have my blessing. And we ended up going with Jimmy's because we felt really good about it. But the last like lyric that Jimmy sings in that verse is like the where do we go from here is actually from Moon Song by the M Machine. So we kind of like got the best of both worlds.
Oh, that's cool.
We like made that reference and got our own original thing.
How does it feel to have these people that are influences of yours got your back like this? I mean, it's beautiful.
I can't really think about it too much.
I don't want to make it weird, but like...
it gets weird once you think about it.
Yeah, it's a little freaky, but it feels incredibly rewarding, and everyone, all these guys that we like grew up listening to, who've a lot of them we've like been lucky to call like peers or close friends. I think there's always this like theoretical like thing where people are like, oh, like never meet your idols or whatever. And I feel like on a whole basis, like we've had like the exact opposite experience of that, like where everybody that we looked up to as kids that we've met as adults have just been like
really
the coolest, like
really
tightest, cool. like loving and caring people who are just so like supportive. And
it's because you got good taste, kid. Just don't idolize assholes, and you'll be okay.
Exactly.
All right, I'm gonna ask a couple more questions, and then we are getting close to an hour. And I like to try to keep it tight because I will upload this chat on YouTube later. But I saw someone back here had a really interesting question. It was like, What is one? What would you think would be the most surprising influence on world famous tour?
Big tour. It is famous.
I would probably. I mean, we've hinted at it before, but I feel like the 1975 is a much bigger influence on our music than most people would think. We're really big 1975 fans. At least me and Luke are.
Yeah.
Maybe not as Michael. Not as much. Michael likes a lot of their
Michael
stuff.
liked that latest record.
Yes,
Yeah.
but me and Luke have been like. Luke especially is definitely the biggest one. But
I would say like. God, I said this in my head, and now it sounds so snotty. But like, I really like My Bloody Valentine and like Cocktail Twins a lot.
Yes,
which is like very traditionally like snooty music, but I earnestly just really enjoy it. And a lot of the writing, especially on like Heaven or Las Vegas by the Cocktail Twins, is like some of my favorite.
Cocktail Twins.
It's just like it's so like
it's amazing.
It's so like happy and like dreamy and like. I think we discovered that record in like 2019. I think like 2018. I think right. We were going to Lights All Night and we listened to it. It was 2018. And yeah, I remember listening to that album while driving to this New Year's festival in Dallas. Just being like really like blown away at how every song was so good. Like I remember like listening to the first song, I was like, "This is great." Second song, "This is great." Third song, "This is great." And then you get to the fourth one, and I was like, "There's no way all of these songs are this good."
Right, yeah. Where's the part where we go to take a bathroom break? What's going on?
Yeah.
And that album just like played and it just finished, and I was just like, "Wow, that was a really incredible piece of music." So yeah, we also I really like a lot of that like shoegazy. I feel like this is really worth mentioning too. I always forget it. Like. Koji Kondo and like Junichi Masuda, who like write all of the music for like Pokemon, and like Koji Kondo has written like every single piece of video game music ever. Like, I always forget to like list him as like an influence, but it's truly like most of the Koji Kondo music is like some of the only music that will like really make me cry on the spot. Like a lot of the stuff for like the Pokemon games that like Junichi Masuda has done, like all of that music is like very like. Subconsciously like dug itself into our brains.
Yeah,
and I think
100%.
I actually didn't even really hear it on the album, but there was somebody in our Discord who was like, "Oh, like Shift sounds like something that would be out of Pokemon Emerald," and I was like, "Oh, like yeah, that's like you're probably right." And then they literally converted, like they rewrote Shift with Pokemon Emerald sound fonts,
Whoa.
and I like almost cried listening to it. It sounded so perfect.
Oh
so,
my
like,
god!
Like I was really happy to listen to that, and I think like after they said that, I was like, oh yeah, like no shit that like all of this music that like we grew up listening to when we were kids like
has found its way in here.
Yeah.
It's so true. Ghostboy25 said, "Shout out Kay from the Discord." Everyone, shout out Kay for doing that. You should play that. That's what you should play when everyone's like leaving the venue. You should just play out. It's like game over. That's so fun, and I love that you made. I'm glad you said that out loud too, because I think we all also know, especially this generation of dance music producers, is very influenced by video game music because we all grew up listening and playing video games, and like I'm always thinking to myself, like the amount of times that what's playing in my head is just some song from a Mario game is like out of control, or like the background music from Sailor Moon or something. Like,
I always joke that like if I could have things my way in the future and they do chip us all up, I would love to have the music from Persona 5 just playing idly in my brain. Like the jazz like chords that they have in the songs are like I would love to just have that be background music to my entire life.
Yeah. Well, on that note, Vix Bottom says they really hope to see you guys at Lost Lands again this year. Someone had asked if you would do a Red Rock show. I don't think that's the sort of thing you get to just decide you're going to do.
Yeah, I'd love to. That's a great idea.
It's the funniest thing is when we get questions like, "Oh, when are you going to come to XYZ?" And it's like literally
as soon as they ask us to.
Exactly.
Let that be a lesson to you. Kids, if you want to see Wavedash in your town, tell your local promoter that you want to see Wavedash in your town. Get a Facebook petition. I don't know if anyone uses Facebook anymore, but get a petition going. Get a change.org.
Change.org fired up.
We want to see Wavedash. Yeah, someone's like, when are y'all playing Rio Mart? Rio Mart? Is that like
that was one of our friends, I'm assuming.
There's
a corner store off of the main street in downtown, like campus area, Guadalupe, there's this corner store called Rio Market that we
used to frequent.
It used to be our main corner store that we would go to, and we
love it.
Adore that.
We love that place.
You should do it. Listen, you guys have mentioned, I'm originally from the Miami area, and during Winter Music Conference or Miami Music Week, whatever you want to call it, shit gets crazy, and I'm sure you've seen it. Everything turns into a DJ booth, and everything is a club and whatever. And I swear to God, one year, I'm always covering it, and I'm always very tired, and it's like Sunday of Ultra, and I'm just over it, And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get some checkers. I don't even like checkers. It's just what was around. So I was at the drive-thru, and there's a fucking DJ set up at the Checkers, and they couldn't hear my order because this asshole was playing like Pitbull dance tracks, and I was like ready. I was done. I was like, no more DJs. I fucking hate you.
We gotta go DJ at Whataburger.
Yes, DJ at Whataburger. DJ at Rio Mart. Fuck it. That's where you do your tour announcement. You're like, we're playing. We're world famous. Anyways, thank you guys so very much for coming on the program. It has been so wonderful having you, and I hope that you enjoyed this interview as well. I know you don't do a lot of them. I'm trying not to scare you away from...
This was awesome.
This was a blast.
Great.
Yeah, we had a blast.
I would love to have you guys anytime on the show. You're super welcome through anytime. I love that you guys all live together. I think we're all, me and everyone in the chat is going to walk away from this with this just like idyllic image of just like 3 friends living at a house, like playing Super Smash Brothers.
Exactly. That's how.
But we are going to play the Stallions video after we end our chat. So any final thoughts on Stallions? Fucking Sid, any thoughts on Stallions?
She's shaking her head.
She's shaking her head.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to troll. I just am one.
That song rocks. That song just hit 1 million plays on Spotify.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to it.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Hell yeah. Well
Quite
earned.
possibly the most proud of anything we've ever done being that song specifically. I think that song has had I think we've decided 4 or 5 versions across its lifespan.
Wow.
And the one we ended on is most definitely
the best
version. And we love that song, and thanks for listening. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I'm so happy for you, and it's only been a week since your album has been out there and in the world. It's so fresh. It's still a baby. It's learning to walk on its own, but it seems like you guys have gotten so much great feedback. I really hope that you feel that. Yeah, was it all worth it? Was the holding on and the telling everyone they were wrong?
Most definitely.
Very worth.
We not currently planning on doing anything like that anytime soon.
Fuck it.
I know. I sent a demo in our group chat 2 days ago, and Gavin was like, I don't know, should we start working on the second album? I was like, shut up, man. That is the last thing I need to hear right now.
But with that being said, we are putting out more music this year.
At
for
least,
sure. It's
don't say that.
we can't dig ourselves into that hole. But I think after working on something for 4 years, we are so ready to just make as much music as possible, and we're all getting fully vaccinated.
Me and Luke are already fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
Wow, congrats!
I'll be fully vaccinated very, very soon. And so I think we're trying to work with friends and make music with friends and make a trillion billion songs and hopefully put some out by the end of the year.
Yeah. And maybe 3 of those trillion billion will see the light of day.
That's kind of what I was trying to say. I think at least 3.
For every trillion, we'll put out 1. So
Sounds good. The very best one. All right. Thank you so much, you guys. You're such a pleasure. Thank you, Sid, as well. Welcome back anytime.
Quietly.
Have a great rest of your day.
You as well.
Bye.
Thank you.